In this investigation, we'll uncover Google's secret silicon war, the inference problem, and the move toward agentic commerce. If you're ready to see how the web is being rewritten, hit that like button and subscribe to watch more such detailed case studies. For 2 decades, Google was the gateway to the world. But in April 2026, they didn't just pivot, they ended the era of search as we know it. The search company is dead. In its place rises a silicon sovereign, a full-stack AI powerhouse with total control. This isn't a rebrand, it's a takeover. From the research labs of DeepMind to the very silicon and their servers, Google now owns the entire stack of human intelligence. The link is dead. In AI mode, 93% of your questions are answered without you ever leaving Google. The open web is being walled off. CEO Sundar Pichai calls it the Overton Window. They weren't late to the AI race. They were waiting for the world to stop asking questions and start accepting the machine. With a $700 billion war chest, they aren't just buying the future, they are forging it in silicon. Google is building its own brain from the ground up. We are entering the age of Agentic Commerce, where you don't search for a flight, you ask an agent to take over your life. Discovery has been replaced by execution. The search box is a legacy. The profit is now in the cloud, in the AI, in the very intelligence that powers the world. Google is no longer looking for answers. They are the answer. But in a world without links, who controls the truth? The war has only just begun. Subscribe for more such series. For a decade, the world of artificial intelligence had only one engine. Nvidia's GPUs were the gold standard, the undisputed kings of the silicon world. But as the AI boom accelerated, supply lines snapped. H100 chips became more valuable than gold, and every tech giant found themselves at Nvidia's mercy. But in Mountain View, a secret strategy was already in motion. Google wasn't just waiting for chips. They were building their own future. It started in 2016 with the first tensor processing unit. It was a specialized accelerator designed specifically for the neural networks that power search. Standard GPUs use SIMD architecture, single instruction, multiple data. They are versatile, but they are built for graphics, not pure intelligence. Google chose a different path. The systolic array. Like a human heart pumping blood, it pushes data through a grid of processors with perfect rhythmic efficiency. This architectural shift makes TPUs 10 times more efficient for AI workloads. They don't just run faster, they run cooler and cheaper. By the time TPU v4 arrived, Google was building massive pods, supercomputers made of thousands of interconnected chips working as a single brain. This was the hardware that trained Gemini. Without this custom silicon, Google's most powerful AI models would have been physically impossible to build. Now we have TPU v8. It is the pinnacle of Google's silicon war, a beast of a chip designed for the next decade of agentic intelligence. To house these brains, Alphabet has committed $700 billion to its global infrastructure. This is an investment in the physical foundation of the AI era. They are building a global neural network, a decentralized brain that spans continents, processing billions of requests every second. This is total vertical integration. By owning the research, the silicon, and the cloud, Google has eliminated every middleman in the stack. The result is a massive structural advantage. Google can now train models faster and at a fraction of the cost of any competitor. But the secret isn't just the hardware. It's XLA, a specialized compiler that maps Google's AI code directly onto the silicon for maximum performance. This hardware dominance is driving a massive financial shift. Google Cloud revenue is surging, growing by over 63% in the last quarter alone. Cloud AI has become the new profit engine for Alphabet, diversifying their revenue and reducing their reliance on the traditional search box. The Silicon War has sent shockwaves through Wall Street. The world is realizing that Google is no longer just a search engine. It is a silicon sovereign. Nvidia's moat is being challenged. For the first time in a decade, a serious competitor has the scale and the technology to end their hardware monopoly. But this power comes with a price. In the United States, regulators have already declared Google an illegal search monopoly, and the AI era brings new scrutiny. The European Commission has introduced new designations that may force Google to share the very data and hardware that power its AI models. Is Google building a tool for humanity, or a walled garden of intelligence that no one else can access? The battle for control has only just begun. But even with the best silicon, there is one technical hurdle that Google hasn't cleared, the inference problem. And it's about to break the web. Stay tuned. Training an AI model is like teaching a student, but inference is the exam. It's the moment the machine has to think for every single user in real time. Traditional search was cheap. You requested a link, and Google gave you an index. But AI doesn't retrieve, it generates. And every generated word has a massive physical cost. When you scale that cost across 8 billion searches a day, you don't just have a technical hurdle. You have an existential crisis of energy and economics. This is why Google is pivoting to AI mode. They are sacrificing the open web to solve their own inference problem, answering 93% of queries without ever sending you to a link. In this new era, the internet is no longer measured in clicks. It's measured in tokens. Google is building a token economy where they control both the mint and the market. To survive, Google needed a different kind of brain. Enter the TPU V8i, the Inference variant, a chip designed not to learn, but to think at lightning speed with minimal power. By moving inference to their own silicon, Google has reduced the cost of an AI query by orders of magnitude, making the impossible profitable. But as Google solves its inference problem, it creates a new one for everyone else. If the AI provides the answer, why would anyone ever visit your website again? The foundation of the web, search engine optimization, is being vaporized. We are moving from a web of discovery to a web of synthesis. Google is no longer a librarian. They are the oracle, and the inference problem has given them the perfect excuse to lock the doors to the library. This is the ultimate competitive moat. While competitors bleed cash to run their models on standard GPUs, Google's TPUs are running the world's intelligence for pennies. The result is a synthesized reality, a world where the information you receive is no longer a collection of human voices, but a single Google-managed output. As the inference problem is solved for the giant, the rest of the web is being pushed into a technical ghetto, starved of the traffic that once kept it alive. But how did they convince us to accept this? The answer lies in a political theory called the Overton Window, and Chapter 4 will reveal the psychological war for your data. Google wasn't late to AI. They were waiting for you to be ready. Stay tuned for the most controversial chapter yet. Subscribe to see the full series. In political theory, the Overton window defines the range of ideas the public is willing to accept. For 2 decades, Google operated within the window of search. But in 2022, the window began to shift. When ChatGPT arrived, the tech world declared Google dead. They were called cautious and unprepared. But behind the scenes, Sundar Pichai was playing a much longer game. They weren't late to the race. They were waiting for consent. Google knew that if they moved too early, the public would reject a machine that thinks. They waited for us to get used to the voice. By 2025, the Overton window had fully opened. Pichai declared a year of relentless focus, shifting the company from a tool of retrieval to an engine of ubiquitous intelligence. To anchor this shift, they refreshed the most iconic logo in tech. The new gradient G wasn't just an aesthetic choice. It was a psychological signal that the era of flat search was over. The result was the zero-click reality. Features like AI overviews became the default, answering 93% of queries internally. The link, the very lifeblood of the web, was effectively severed. The strategy worked. By early 2026, Google's paid AI subscriptions hit 350 million. They had successfully converted their search monopoly into a recurring intelligence tax. The foundation of the web, SEO, was vaporized. Businesses that spent decades ranking for links were suddenly forced to compete for a single AI-curated mention. But as Google moved the window, regulators tried to shut it. Declared an illegal monopoly in the US, the company is now fighting to keep the data that powers its machine. In Europe, new strategic market status designations threatened to force Google to share its hardware and data with the very competitors it just spent $700 billion to outrun. We traded privacy for utility. We let the machine into our lives because it was convenient, and in doing so, we handed the keys of human discovery to a single sovereign. Google is no longer a search engine. They are the oracle. They don't help you find the truth. They define it. But the final phase of this takeover is about to go live. The psychological war is over. Now, the era of action begins. Stay tuned for our final chapter, Agentic Commerce, where AI takes over your life. Subscribe now. For 2 decades, we used Google to find things. Now, Google wants to do things for us. We are leaving the era of search and entering the age of agentic commerce. This isn't just a smarter chatbot. This is a reasoning engine. A stack of intelligence designed to understand your intent, access your tools, and execute your life. Imagine asking for the best flight to Delhi and having the booking completed, the calendar set, and the confirmation sent, all without you ever clicking a link. In this world, the click is dead. Discovery has been replaced by execution. The very foundation of how businesses reach customers is being rewritten in silicon. Google is no longer just a gatekeeper, they are the mint. They control the tokens of intelligence that power every transaction in this new autonomous economy. Local businesses will no longer fight for rankings. They will fight for agent approval, the right to be the single choice made by the machine for the user. This intelligence is ubiquitous. It's in your phone, your car, and your home. A single Google-managed assistant that knows you better than you know yourself. In the corporate world, agentic commerce will manage everything from supply chains to complex workflows, making the modern enterprise a series of automated decisions. To fuel this, the data harvest must be total. Every action, every preference, and every habit becomes a token in the machine's reasoning model. Google is positioning itself as the only guide in a world of overwhelming information. They aren't finding the answer anymore. They are the only path to it. The trade-off is absolute. We gain the ultimate utility of an autonomous life, but we surrender the final remnants of digital privacy to a single sovereign. This is Google's final form. Not a search engine, but a full-stack AI powerhouse. The Silicon Sovereign of the Information Age. From the identity shift to the Silicon War, the inference problem to the Overton Window, the internet as we knew it is gone. A new world has begun. This concludes our investigation. If you're ready for the future, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the technologies rewriting our world. We have journeyed from the death of search to the birth of a Silicon Sovereign, 5 chapters that reveal a web rewritten in the image of a single AI powerhouse. Google is no longer finding the world's information. They are generating its future. In the era of Agentic Commerce, discovery has been replaced by total execution. But as the links disappear, we must ask, who controls the truth in a synthesized reality? The war for your data has only just begun. Thank you for watching this investigation. If you're ready for what's next, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this series. The future is waiting.